Hey everyone, welcome here to Psychology Podcast 123 and with Coach Adam Mazin.
Hello.
Uh, Coach Adam Mazin, he began training martial arts at the age of 10, and he's black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, of all things, under Master Fernando Yamazaki.
Mm, yes.
He also holds a black belt in Taekwondo, kickboxing. I'm reading straight up from his book, guys.
Yay.
Very excited about this. Kickboxing under Master Malcolm Perkins.
Yeah.
He has competed in numerous amateur professional jiu-jitsu competitions for the past 10 years. Coach Adam has been the director of the children's jiu-jitsu program at Jocko Willink and Dean Lister's Victory MMA gym in San Diego, California. Welcome, Coach Adam. Thanks so
Hello.
much for joining.
Great to be
Yes, so we have a lot in common. I was just very impressed about the quality and the great work you guys put into, creating this project, right? Can you tell us a little bit about straight up to the core of the our conversation, which is, the creation of this book and what this book represents?
Uh, we came up with the idea during COVID when we were locked down. We were locked down for a long time. Our gym was closed for a long time, and we weren't even sure if we were going to reopen.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, what else can I do that involves jujitsu? Because I love jujitsu. And I taught kids for a long time. I've taught beginners for a long time, and I didn't really see any kind of guide for people who have no idea about jujitsu, just looking to maybe like a stepping stone, like no idea about anything, no positions or what it's about, or even there's people who don't know. Okay, what if I get hurt and I want to stop? People don't know what tap out means. So I wanted to right. I wanted to make something that just gave the people looking to get involved just a stepping stone, just to be able to get into jiu-jitsu. And I wanted to make it for both kids and adults because I've taught kids for a long time, um, but also I know there's a lot of adults out there who have similar questions, just basic, okay, what do I do when I just on my first day if I want to get started in this?
Exactly, and sometimes I find it funny that people, not only with jujitsu, but just getting in shape in general,
Yeah.
that people sometimes they feel, I don't know, like self-conscious, and they may not want to, join right away. They want to get in shape before they join the gym. They want to get in shape
Yeah.
before they go to jiu-jitsu. And yeah, it's that's the place you go to get in shape,
Yeah.
right? That's
Hmm.
the place you show up. Nobody's really judging.
Yeah.
We are more self-conscious that people don't really pay attention as much as we think they are, right? They're
Hmm.
not. Nobody cares. And more nowadays, everybody has their phones and their earpieces and at the gym, and everybody's kind of like in their own zone. So
Yeah.
if you have the desire to start jujitsu, don't let a few pounds to stop you or worrying about the opinion of others. I think that is what kills a lot of people from doing anything, from
Yeah.
starting a business, from starting a martial arts, for um, you know um, joining a health club or whatever or a course, right?
So
you have
true.
you have to right, it takes courage for you to try something different, and then um, yeah, there's a price.
And just to remember that like you're there for yourself. Like everyone's gonna have different goals, and
Mm.
especially in jujitsu, there's gonna be 20-year-olds who are looking to be world champs, and 60-year-olds looking to lose 10 pounds. And compare, I say, compare yourself to yourself. You
Mm.
know, you're there to help yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people.
Exactly. I think comparison is really the other thing that really kills a lot of people. Motivation, right?
Yeah.
Really stops you from achieving your goals and getting out there. So yeah, it's important to have courage and not really care so much about the opinion of others, and to like take the initiative and do not compare. Do not compare yourself with anybody. And jiu-jitsu is such a wonderful art that, we train, for so many years, and we get tapped out by lower belts, and one day you're the best and the next
Very
day you're
humbling.
the worst. So it's very humbling art. So it's a very transformative martial arts, right? Like, how has jiu-jitsu transformed your life?
Oh, I'm one of those jujitsu saved my life people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, I got started at a young age, and I was just lucky enough to have just a great teacher who was not only involved in my life inside the gym but outside, and just kept constant on me when I had friends. I grew up in like not the best part of New Jersey, where a lot of people I knew I grew up with just aren't in the best place right now, and I was so fortunate to have martial arts in my life and such positive influences at the gym. The the adults and the guides that I had at the gym growing up are just, I wouldn't replace my upbringing for anything in the world. Just the guidance that I had and the people who I was surrounded with, and I wouldn't have been surrounded by those people if I never started jujitsu, if I never started training. So I'm very fortunate and very lucky for just the people that I had and I was able to grow up with, and I tried to provide that kind of environment for the kids and adults that I teach. Not just like, okay, the hour's up, get out of here. It's like I'm concerned with what's going on in their lives, how they're doing, how's their mental health, the kids, how's their grades. It's just jujitsu encompasses so many things, and I was fortunate to get into it.
Yes, I think it's fascinating what jiu-jitsu can do for you, and you kind of summarized like all the philosophy and the learnings, right? The techniques.
Yes,
So this is definitely kind of like a reference book,
I
right?
appreciate it. Yes,
Like a
thank you.
reference book. So
Mhm.
um, how um, how do you see people, like even different schools, like using this in their programs, right? How do
Yeah.
you use this in
Yeah.
your gym?
Uh, I teach a 6 week introduction course, and other gyms are doing it too. I think we have Legion around us that does one. I think there's just a few weeks, but it's things that you need to know. Like, we'd all agree that you need to know an armbar, like just beginning. You need to know a triangle. You need to know what guard is, like, and what are you doing from those positions? What's your goal? Because people come in kind of blind. They have no idea. Like, okay, I'm on top of this person. What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like an introduction to, okay, you just started jujitsu. This is what you should know, and that's what I wanted to put in the book. Is just jujitsu 101 for dummies, kind of thing. Just what you need to know
What you need to know for you just to get started,
to
and
get started, and that's universal with all schools. I mean, no, I don't think anyone could come to me and say, you don't need to know mount. You don't need to know what a triangle is. Like, it's pretty agreed upon. The things that are in the book, and the lessons too. Like, nobody wants anybody coming into the gym being a jerk.
Mm.
Just like the attitude you should have and the respect and the things that I think martial arts should be.
Yeah, and you
Not,
published this, through Joko Publishing, and
yeah.
Victory MMA. It's like Dean Listers and Joko Willink Gym.
Yeah.
So what is it like? Are you is Joko like sometimes come to train,
Oh
or
yeah. I see
does he
him like
live in the area?
he's so busy, but I see him
Mhm,
probably 3 times a week when he's around.
mhm,
Yeah, I've known Jocko for 12 years now, and what's funny
mhm,
is I moved here from New Jersey, and I just got my black belt. Probably I think 6 months after I moved to San Diego, I got my black belt. and Victory hired me to help with the kids program because the teacher left, and the head instructor was Jocko, because his son, his son was still in the program, and his son Thor was like 9 years old, and he wanted to make sure he was learning jiu-jitsu from his dad. So I was Jocko's assistant for the first year. So the first year I didn't say a word. I just listened to Jocko. So I'm pretty fortunate. I got to kind of be next to Jocko for an entire year, and I still see him and talk to him all the time. And that is somebody. He's the guy who practices what he preaches every day. He's the same person online as he is in real life. You know, he's not a different person. He is a disciplined person.
Yeah, he definitely took the concept of extreme ownership to the next level.
Yes,
And,
yes.
what is it like to be a SEAL, and how to succeed in that very, very intense environment, and what is it like to be a warrior, right?
Yeah.
I understand that you also created the Warrior Kid program, right?
He wrote the Warrior Kid books.
Okay.
Those are Jocko's books.
Mm.
But lucky me, he put a jiu-jitsu teacher in the book, and his name is Coach Adam.
I see.
So I'm Coach Adam in the Way of the Warrior Kid books that Jocko wrote.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was an honor for me.
I see. So he wrote those books, and there's also a program that's like kind of in development, I'd say, like online.
We call our kids program the Warrior Kid program because that's Jocko's books.
I see.
And then it's not just like who's ever the best fighter is the best. It's like that's not what those books are about. It's like it's a whole lifestyle of discipline and just helping others and making yourself a better person. And I stole a lot of his stuff to put in the ABCs of Jiu-Jitsu book because I think they're important lessons.
Yes.
I think I have direct quotes in some of them from Jocko.
Yeah, I like this one. Says, "Discipline equals freedom."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's true. You wake up early. You have the discipline to get your other stuff done throughout the day. I don't know. It's way more than just everything's my fault. That's not what he's trying to say. It's way deeper than that. It's a good just lifestyle to live by, what he teaches.
Yeah, and he lives it, right? He lives it. He shows it to his kid. I think that's what's really important as far as parenting goes, is that sometimes you can tell your kid all kinds of things, and if you're not doing it, it doesn't really translate. People, kids really do what they see, like what you're modeling on a day-to-day. So it's nice to see that.
No, like you're not gonna, if a kid doesn't want to be something, like you're not gonna force them to be that thing. Everybody's gonna have their own path, but just teaching a kid that, okay, like whatever you're gonna do, you need to have discipline, or there's gonna be consequences. Like if you don't do what you need to get done to accomplish what you're trying to do, there's gonna be consequences. And I think that's just the whole philosophy.
Yeah. In the book, it talks about goals, having goals, right? Like if you don't have a goal, then you just kind of your attention doesn't have like a real direction, so you can get into all kinds of negative thinking or negative patterns of behavior, and who knows what. Like, so having these values and having goals and having the discipline. So it's really fascinating to see how not only you guys are promoting that through the book, but how jiu-jitsu, it's such a great avenue for that, for people, for kids, for adults, for women. This is nice to see a lot of women practicing jiu-jitsu as well. And in competitions, they're just growing. Like we just having right now the Jiu-Jitsu Master Worlds and Jiu-Jitsu Com right now in Las Vegas, and I keep seeing on my feed like there's like 10,800 competitors, right? The brackets are huge. Like I have friends that are blue belts and
Mm-hmm.
students and, you know, coaching clients of mine competing. Their brackets are like 30 something people.
Huge.
Like
Yes.
for
Yes.
women, for
That's a
guys,
long
it
day.
must
Yeah.
be, you know, 100.
It's
You know, it's like
amazing.
30 for women, it's 100 for
Yeah.
guys.
I'm
Right?
so glad so many people are into it. It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
Yeah. And why do you think jiu-jitsu is so cool right now? Like, why is jiu-jitsu so popular? Like, what's going on? Like, everybody's doing jiu-jitsu. Like, Elon Musk is doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I know.
Mark Zuckerberg. Like, what's going
I
on?
bet you it's because he read the ABCs of jujitsu. And
Oh,
yeah, and
that's right. So right
that
here, guys,
yeah.
IBC Jiu-Jitsu. I want to show you guys. I'm gonna make an experiment here. Try to show you my screen.
Okay.
So let's see what happens here. Boom! There you go.
Oh, look
Check
at.
it out. Right. So that's where you can find it, like the ABCs of Jiu-Jitsu by Coach Adam Mazin, and the illustrations are amazing. Like it's
Yeah.
also a Jiu-Jitsu guy, like Chris
Chris Ahler's.
Ahler.
Ahler's. Yes.
Is
Yeah,
he
he's amazing, amazing artist.
tattoo artist, right?
Tattoo artist and just a regular artist. Like he throws paintings and uh, anything art. He can do it. He's just really good. And I wanted to use him, and I had to beg him, but he eventually he caved and he did the art.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it took us a year, I think over a year to complete everything. And it's only 86, 87 pages, but we put a lot of work into it. A lot.
A year to do it. And it's nice, like, you know, you guys were able to use the time of COVID lockdowns. That
Yeah.
was kind of a bummer, it's kind of a lame ass time
Yeah.
for most people, and turn that into a positive. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people, I could say myself included, that was able to actually take advantage of that
Yep.
time, of that pause, of that strange time to grow, to do something with that time instead of, you know, just floating, right?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of people. There was two routes you could have gone. It was either
Mhm.
just. I mean, it was a depressing time, but
Yeah,
it's that philosophy. It's like, okay, what can you do? Use it and figure something
yeah.
out.
I find it as jiu-jitsu community is really cool because I was really proud of the jiu-jitsu community for sort of like a lot of them fought back a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what, we're gonna continue to train. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yes.
there's a little there, you know, it's like maybe it's the
Yeah.
warrior spirit. A lot of the
Yeah.
people that
Exactly.
kind of find themselves and stay and stick with jiu-jitsu is a different kind of people. You know what I mean? It's not your regular folk out
And
there
I
that
don't
will
think
just follow and do whatever they say.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think any of them were like, you have to come to jiu-jitsu with their.
Mhm.
It was like, if you don't want to
Who
come,
won?
you don't feel
Yeah.
safe, don't come.
Please don't
But
come.
yeah, yeah, right. But
Yeah.
I mean, some of them drew a line in the sand, and they were like, no, we need to open people. For me, at least,
Mhm.
this jiu-jitsu is therapy. If I
As
don't do jiu-jitsu for a month, I'm a different person. You know,
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are the same way.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of studies that been done in a field of like psychological trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's all kinds of different psychological traumas people
Yeah.
can have, right? Like violence, you know, medical things or disasters or
Yes.
abuse, and you name it. Like, you know, even they say like, you know, poverty or things like that, you know, just being not having enough money, and the struggle zone could be all traumatic growing up, right? Neglect, like, and things like that. So in the field of trauma, the studies have shown that, you know, martial arts, you know, it's a way to get the trauma out of your body,
Yeah.
right? So they say that the trauma lives in the body. There's a book called by Bessel van der Kolk called the Body Keeps the Score. It's pretty much
Wow.
the Bible of trauma.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And really awesome how, you know, trauma in the brain and things like that. And this how, like, you know, one of one of the ways is not just to, go ahead and try medication, like
Yeah.
how, even Bessel van der Kolk used to be in the early experiments with when the medication came out, Zoloft and things like that. But what he found out is that over time that those things are not working. Just conventional psychotherapy and meds alone is not cutting the mustard for those people that have complex trauma. Talk about PTSD and things like that. So they find jujitsu.
Yes,
I
yeah,
mean,
yes.
and this is like the way, like
I just did a
jujitsu.
book signing with it's a nonprofit called We Defy,
Oh
and they
yeah.
specialize for military veterans
Mhm.
who come back with trauma, and they pay for their jiu-jitsu memberships and just kind of advocate for them to start training jiu-jitsu, especially not just martial arts, but they try to gravitate towards jiu-jitsu, and they'll find an academy and pay their membership. And I mean, I'm a huge advocate, but I'm biased. I love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, We Defy Foundation. Check it out if you can support or if you want to be supported by them, right? We Defy Foundation, definitely. I know a couple, at least a couple, if not more, teammates that are sponsored and supported by them, compete, and
Okay.
they're killing in the
Yeah.
tournaments, because just of a little support. They've
Yeah.
been in the military or in some kind of, and they have some, type of training, but once they find jujitsu, they take it to the next level. It's just everything just comes out and they really find their calling in a way.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you can see their lives transform, right? You must have seen, Adam, the lives of many kids, sometimes troubled
So many.
kids, right?
Yeah.
They're maybe bullied or being bullied or whatever, like drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
things that are not serving them. Sometimes
Mhm.
they, find somehow their way to jiu-jitsu gym, and then you can kind of see them kind of develop. I remember
Yeah.
when I was a white belt,
Yeah.
you know, I have to apologize to the to the people that I used to roll with when I was a white belt, because I was just a different person.
Yes.
Much more unconscious, much more clueless in how to, how
Yes.
to be, how to, what really matters. Or I just learned so much more humility, so much more what it really means, to be a jiu-jitsu practitioner and to like help others, and not always trying to win and that kind of
Yeah.
crazy attitude that you're always like trying to beat everybody and something to prove, but like
Yeah.
how can we grow together or something like that everybody's going through something. So I didn't
Yeah.
have that awareness because my own trauma was so greater than I could handle, that I could only deal with my own stuff. And then
Yeah.
for over time I start to realize, wow, like this is transforming my life, and I
Yes.
can really now I become the coach,
Yes.
it's like the hero's journey. At some point you come in, you're the white belt, but before you know, you're teaching the
Mhm.
kids. You're
Yeah.
helping with, lead the class or something. You're just like helping coaching, you helping something. And then before you know, there's more meaning than it's just all about you. It's not just all about you. Now it's about the community. So I think that's part of what it means to be a warrior, something
Yes.
beyond yourself, right?
Yeah. And that's why I've taught the kids for so long. It's just like I love seeing that transformation, and every kid is different. I have kids that are like, even some kids come in with bully tendencies. There's
Hmm.
opposite. It's kids who are being bullied,
Hmm.
kids that are like kind of being bullied, and everybody kind of has their own path with jiu-jitsu. I try to find balance for all those kids. But I've had kids come in who wouldn't even make eye contact
Right.
with me, so shy, and
Yep.
a lot of kids that come in just on the spectrum
Mhm.
too. And now these kids are winning gold medals in tournaments, and you see just their everything in their life just improve, and then keeping that in check. Okay, now don't get cocky, don't get so ego filled. Remember to keep everything in check, and like you said, like now it's your turn to help people.
Mhm.
Just I love seeing that transformation in the kids. In adults it's great, but you feel with the kids it's like, okay, they have this for their whole lives,
Mhm.
and all I can hope is I help make that difference. For my own little ego, I like being a little guide for the kids to help them improve themselves and try to help others.
Yeah, it gives us meaning, right? It gives us meaning to see something um, improve in somebody's lives is very, very rewarding for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're coaching at Victory MMA, right?
Victory
Victory
MMA.
MMA, what a
I
cool
see.
name. And I was looking at the schedule. There's classes all the times, like Dean Lister,
Yes.
Coach Adam, Dean Lister.
Yes.
What is it like to roll with Dean Lister? Like, do you still
It's
have
like
your feet? Do you still have your legs are intact?
there's there's videos you can watch. You can just type in
Mhm.
fighting with a grizzly bear.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's a big guy, and it's
Yeah.
just he is so good. It's like he's a jujitsu genius, you know. But I think he's my coach, and still, I might say I'm on the same schedule with him, but he'll be one of my coaches. He's my coach, and I always look for him for advice. And whenever he steps on the mat, I give him the respect that he deserves because he was, I mean, at a time one of the best in the world. And I always remind the students of that. I'm like, you guys are so lucky that you get to learn from here. Like, it's like learning basketball from Michael Jordan. And here, the guys there are so lucky. And he's like a big brother of mine. So I'm very lucky. And he actually just
Yeah.
texted me too, so I have to text him back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. And I learned I wasn't allowed to do leg locks until purple belt at my old
Right.
academy. Yeah, it's that old
Same,
school
same.
style. It's like
Yeah.
you're cheating. But I mean, I got to Victory 13 years ago, I think, and these blue belts were footlocking me, and I was like, okay, great. Now I got to be a white belt again. So we tried to start early with the leg locks.
Hmm.
So what happened to me doesn't happen to other people. It's like, okay, like it's not the best thought process to say, oh, this is a dirty move or it's illegal, don't learn it. It's like, okay, learn how to defend against it. Instead of just saying that's a bad move, just you should learn how to, because you don't know what's going to be legal in 5-10 years, and you should learn how to get out of everything because you can't be in a fight and say, hey, you can't do that.
Exactly.
There's a line. We're not punching each other. There's MMA for that, but
Mhm.
with jiu-jitsu, we try to say, okay, how do you get out of that? How do you escape in case it happens?
Mhm. Are you like a gi or no gi kind of guy?
I started my whole probably 5-6 years with the gi,
Mhm.
but I love no gi.
No
I
gi.
go back and forth,
Mhm.
but I'm a no gi guy right now. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. Yeah. There's just so many leg attacks that I
Mhm.
wish they would just let you leg lock and gi. Just let me heel hook. Like the guy can tap. It's on him.
Yeah, I don't see why they can't.
Yeah,
They
it's
can,
weird.
no? Leg lock.
It's a strange
Gi.
rule.
Yeah.
There's so many different excuses.
Yeah,
People
there's
are like,
different
oh,
sets of
you can't
rules for
escape because the
different.
gi is too much fabric, and if it's too late and it's ligaments. It's like I've seen so many people get hurt with kimuras and americanas when
Right.
people just put their whole like it's a technique. Like
Mhm.
if you get caught in it, it's on the person. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you a brown belt?
I'm a brown belt
Oh, amazing.
for many years now.
Oh yeah, that was me as purple.
Yeah.
I was the world champion of being the longest purple belt ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. I move a lot. I live here, I live there. I have many
Yes.
interests in jiu-jitsu. It's like 1 out of 5 things maybe that I do, maybe more.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's okay.
Yeah. So, but right now, I still compete. I just, yeah, I missed this Master Worlds because my shoulder wasn't really agreeing with the training. But I, continue to compete as much as I can. I'm also finishing a grad program in clinical psychology and getting to the field of neurofeedback next.
Yes.
So that's very intense, like finishing December, and there's the whole practicum part that you're seeing clients, and you have to have so many hours, to graduate. as a therapist. So you're, talking to people all the time and, processing all kinds of stuff that people has never mentioned before in their lives, like big traumas and, unimaginable things. And they're like maybe 40, 50 years old is the first time that they, nobody's ever heard of that. And I'm the first one to like, so it's very, you have to be in a very serious space to like receive that and to like, sit with that with them and help them out. So that I really enjoy doing that kind of work. So I'm going to continue on to that line of work. I've been a hypnotherapist and a life coach for a long time, but now I'm actually getting the credentials of, being a mental health, like applying for my license once I graduate, being a therapist.
Amazing.
Yeah, and because I'm doing all that legwork, because I want to specialize after this grad program, post grad, in neurofeedback training. Neurofeedback training is very interesting, especially for jiu-jitsu and pro athletes. That's why I'm bringing this up, is because you can, there's like a QEEG, there's like this little cap you wear on your head and connect to the computer. You can read the brainwaves.
Cool.
And through the brainwaves, like, reading your delta, your alpha, your, theta, all your different, beta waves, it creates a map. And then that data can be fed into a program that spits out a report, and it's like a brain map report, and it shows like which areas of your brain have, trauma, like TBI, or brain fog, or like lack of sleep, or even people that have ADHD. It shows like is the highest level of efficacy for reversing ADHD without medication, just through neurofeedback training. So you can, for example, ADHD, they look at the theta beta ratio. So theta, it's kind of like hypnotic, kind of like, if when I put people into hypnosis, they go into more theta waves, get more predominant, right? And then beta is when we're working, like, we're awake and we're working, that's we're like in beta mode. But people that have ADHD, they have the ratio for theta is too high in the frontal lobes. And then the beta is too low. So there is a way through neurofeedback training, other than the mapping, the actual training is you sit in front of a computer, like just like this, with like a couple electrodes, maybe like 3, like the ground, and 2 more in a certain specific area that you're trying to train. So you're training your brain to stay on a certain wavelength in a certain frequency. And you can alter like the brainwaves pattern just by watching like a video game that is, you don't have the remote control. And then you're watching this video game and you're just controlling with your mind. So it gives you the cues of lights and sound every time you in the right lane.
Cool.
So you're in the right lane that you can kind of adjust the
and it like might reverse these things, like
reverse is proven scientific. Like for ADHD is FDA approved, like insurance covers. It's like a no-brainer for ADHD.
So cool. Yeah, it's all brain.
Now for TBI, also very effective for people that have concussions. So there is some neurofeedback people that just specialize in reversing the concussions, like damage in the brain. Because if you get a concussion in the brain, like in jiu-jitsu, if you fall, you get thrown or whatever, you just get up and you don't feel, like the brain is not gonna, like a muscle or something that's gonna be sore. You don't feel it, but you could have actually areas that are slower. So you can see that on the map, and you can target the area and adjust it. And let's say you don't have anything, right? Let's say your brain's fine, you don't have ADHD, you don't have any kind of trauma, psychological, anything, or addiction, but you want to increase the power of your brain, your cognitive capacity. There's programs for that. Or how about age decline, right? There's Alzheimer's and things. Like, you can get older, your brain starts to get a little lazy and low power, and you can crank up the machine to like make it work like a muscle.
That's so interesting. It's cool. So cool.
Yeah,
What's it called again?
it's called neuro
Euro.
feedback.
Neuro, like neuro, or
Neuro,
with an N. Oh, Euro. Wow.
no, neuro, like
Neuro. Okay.
and
Yeah. Neuro.
yeah,
Okay.
neuro, and then feedback
Feedback
therapy.
therapy. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very interesting area. It's a area of psychology. It's a specialization of psychology. So for psychologists out there, they don't even know about this stuff.
It's so cool.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
don't even know because it's kind of newer, and it
Yeah.
also goes against like the mainstream forms of like pushing.
I know jujitsu people like that. They're stuck in their ways. They don't. There's no adapting.
Yeah, it's good for jiu-jitsu people in a sense. Okay, maybe you have TBI, you have some level of trauma, but even if you don't, like pro athletes,
Yeah.
they use it. This is a form of biohacking, right?
Yeah.
So biohacking is this whole field in which you hack your biology through science, like you do the cryotherapy, you do the sauna, you go to clinics and you do the NAD IVs, and you do like hormone testing, and you do your like, so it's like functional medicine, together with just doing all the exams and seeing like that's like for elite level.
Mm.
Right? If I really want to invest on like maximizing my performance, so it's high performance coaching, right?
Oh.
Do people train their brain, pro athletes, just to maybe track the ball or track your opponent so that your response is faster? You can. I did some for like in the back of the head, like behind the ears.
Mm.
You can train for physical balance, so you're
Yeah.
balanced, like
Yeah.
in your physiology, right?
Yeah.
There's some for emotional balance.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. So
It's
I
so
just,
cool.
yeah, get fascinated, geek out on that pretty hard.
Oh, I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, because it works, like what are the things that can take people to the next level, right? That's the other therapy that the guy suggested. One is like martial arts
Yeah.
to heal deep trauma, complex trauma, PTSD. Man, people that go and see like horrible things and have PTSD, and then
Yeah.
they drink to mask that,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to access their emotions because they were trained not to. You can't have emotions, right? Go ask Jocko about emotions.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We
What
don't
emotions?
talk about
Yeah.
emotions. Right? So you're trained to like perform, to be a machine, right?
Yeah.
So, but that has consequences in relationships, right? So in your social life. So they said jujitsu, it's a great way to really overcome all that kind of dissociation,
Yeah.
right? Dissociation, it come back into your body, like become like, right? To like, how do I say?
Yeah. I mean, it's association. It's
Yeah.
it's balance. Rebalance yourself.
Exactly. Out of balance, sometimes out of sync, right? We're disconnected from our body, disconnected from our emotions,
Yeah.
and depending on what media you consume, depending on what foods you're eating,
Yeah.
mental health, and then, there throw a pandemic there, throw some financial instability in there. It's just like people are just like on the edge,
Yeah. A lot of
you
people.
know?
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the beauty of jiu-jitsu too is that it creates this safety net for people, like the connection, the human connection that sometimes like one thing is to talk like this and to be on the screen, but like that human connection, like to be on a mat and day in and day out and do kind of, right, you create this network that is very
Everybody's saying that. It's
valuable.
like everybody's talking about like diversity and like you need to like. There's no more. I heard my friends say it. There's no more diversity than
Mhm.
on a jujitsu mat. There's doctors and janitors and mechanics and people of every shape and color like coming together for self-improvement and to improve each other. I mean, it's hard to advocate something that's better than that for people in my mind. Just getting along for a common goal and purpose that everyone has. Just improvement.
Yeah, I mean, it does so much for people in so many levels, and
And mental
because
health.
Mental health, right? You have to start somewhere. So the way I see it, the human being has four different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one that we're most used to is the physicality, is the physical self, right? Physical. And then there's the called the intellectual. The intellectual would be like the mind, the realm of thinking. And then there's like a whole thing about that. Like, what are you
Yeah.
thinking and what are you paying attention to, right? Because that will create, different emotions and bring about, all sorts of things depending on what it is, the content of your thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say for jiu-jitsu, like if you're thinking, oh, I have to win or whatever, or I
No.
failed at this tournament. I see people
Mm-hmm.
posting that, oh, I failed you, whatever, like
Yeah. Yeah.
such a
Terrible.
negative like
Yeah.
thinking, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
not there to prove your master right or to impress your master, not your master, your coach,
Yes.
about anything. So it's
And I
like,
tried to put that in the book. Just everything is learning, and
yeah,
you learn. I'm happy to say, like, I've competed for a long time. I've never been caught in the exact same submission that tapped me out twice in
huh,
years of competition. Like, it
wow,
might have been a variation, but not the same,
right,
because if you lose to something in a competition, it sticks with you. It's like,
right.
okay, how did he put me in that triangle? The whole next 2-3 weeks, at the gym, I don't want to get caught in that again. It's just different than, it's just, it, it it's good to lose. It's good to lose. It helps you grow.
Yeah.
It's hard with kids, especially. It's because every time tears, and you have to calm them down. It's like, we're here to learn. Like, it's not that
Yeah,
huge a deal.
kids
You
are
know,
awesome. Even if they win, they cry. If they
they
lose,
cry.
they
Yeah,
cry.
yeah, yeah.
It's like they're
I'm
gonna
the
cry no
same.
matter what. All emotions, man. All emotions.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was like the best picture ever. Just some kid. It was his first jiu-jitsu tournament. He had one match. He won, and his whole family was crying. He was crying. He was
Oh,
8 years old. His mom was crying. His dad started crying. I was like, this is the best day ever.
love that. And you never forget because like the emotional intensity of that, right, really imprints, and you never forget. Like
Mm-hmm.
in how you do one thing, it's how you do everything. So when you feel like, okay, I can win in jiu-jitsu, I can get better, improve, I progress, I didn't know anything, and then I won. It's like, a
Yeah.
light bulb goes on. It's like, maybe that's the same for math.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the
exactly.
same for whatever,
It's
college.
life. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
I
yeah.
actually, bragging. I passed the bar exam. Yeah,
Wow.
I went to law school, and
Wow.
I was a C student. But if I didn't have martial arts, I wouldn't have passed that test. Like,
Oh.
just applying. Okay, this is what I need to do to get this done.
You're drilling the material.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And like, I
Right?
would have been like, I could do this. Maybe I'll do it later. Then I'll
Mm.
put it off until late. I didn't do that. It was just like, no, you know what you need to do to get something done and accomplished. And I got that from martial arts, not from school, not from my friends. Not from my parents. It was the martial arts school. It's like, okay, this is called discipline, and you need to do this to get this done.
I know if there's any parents out there listening to this, I think this is a really important point that if your kid is not in jujitsu, boy or girl, or
Mhm.
I think it's really important to see that the school system is not there to
No,
educate your children. You are
no.
responsible for the education of your children. In many ways, you have to be on top of the school and not just outsource your children to the school
Yep.
because we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors there, like, and what and how is this, we know that's not really preparing them for life. So if we waste their childhood, their all that time, right, their prime energy into just going to school and memorizing things and not actually learning anything for life, we're wasting their time, we're wasting our time, right?
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu is really something that they can carry on for their whole life, that's really gonna matter, uh, in the long run, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not you memorize, equations, triangles, and history facts that they change and they change again. We don't know. So
And
jiu-jitsu is very true because it's like it's the same. An
there's
arm bar
so
hasn't
many.
changed.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many schools now. You could
Mhm.
do a free trial once a week to find one that you like. Like, it has
Mhm.
changed a lot. Where back then it was one school maybe every 50 miles. Now it's like
Everywhere.
pizza shops now. They're everywhere. Every 2 miles there should be a jiu-jitsu school around you, and find
Yeah,
one that you like that's teaching these lessons of just discipline and not being a champion, but like what it takes to be a champion. And not killing yourself because you lost, or you like, if you didn't do well, like, why didn't you do well? Just analyzing things and having that for your whole life. I mean, like I said before, I'm just appreciative that I fell into it, because I could have just walked by the school, and my brother could have never told me about it, and I don't know
Mhm.
where I would be.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It does keeps you out of trouble.
Yes.
It's all kinds you
Even
can't be
like,
an athlete and a party person at the same time. You got to choose one. So, right?
exactly. Yeah, you can't show up on Sunday morning
Mhm.
still smelling like whatever you did the night before.
Yeah, some try. They get called out pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, the man has a way to kind of correct all those sorts of things and educate you, in a way.
Mhm.
But yeah, in San Diego, for example, you're talking about schools being everywhere. San Diego is a city that I don't know how many schools you guys
Well,
have. There's one everywhere, right?
and they're all full. And they're all
Right.
full. We have
And I-
Barrett Yoshida's gym probably a mile away from us. We have Clark Gracie School
Mhm,
probably 2 miles away from us.
mhm.
We have Atos probably 5 miles away from us, and they're all full. It's not like we're not even competing against each other, because
Right.
so many people are doing jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, there's 10th Planet.
Tenth
There's
Planet,
like
yes, yeah. Sorry for everyone that I left out. I love you guys.
yeah, there's so many. Like we can't
Yeah,
possibly list them all, but like in San Diego, I like to go to Leticia Ribeiro's
yeah, she's
gym.
great. She used to teach
I
at Victory.
Oh really?
Yeah, she was the kids
No,
coach
of
at Victory, and
course.
then her and
Oh,
Morongo opened her own school, and they're doing great,
amazing.
and they're great people.
Yes, they are. They really live it. Like
And it's
they.
such a great community. You see all these people. You see superstars at these local tournaments and
Mhm.
competition. You're like, hi, people who you've. It's just a great community that I love.
Yeah, yeah. There's also Barun Jiu-Jitsu.
Barum is great.
Really
Yeah,
like
Alfredo's my
Alfredo.
good buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alfredo. He's
yeah.
like, how can you not like Alfredo?
No, yeah, he's the nicest guy in the.
Like he's, I
Hey, Adam, how are
know.
you? Like, I want to
He's,
like take him home.
yeah, I know. So he's out there in Las Vegas somewhere. So all these people are in Las Vegas right now. But
Oh
in Los
yeah.
Angeles, not so much. Like if you there are some great schools in Los Angeles, but not as many as San Diego and even
Yeah.
Orange County. It kind of gets more sparse, I'd say. Like, where would you recommend somebody in LA to go train?
Oh, I say it's up to them. Everybody's got their own. Everybody's got their own taste, and
Right, right. Depends what they
there's
like.
you might be a 10th Planet kind of guy. You might be a more gi based Gracie Barra kind of guy. It's like, I think it's up to you. But as long as you're
Right.
doing jujitsu, I think that's a good step. Like,
There's also whether or not you want to compete or you
yeah,
just want a fitness kind
yeah,
of like gym. There are gyms
yeah.
that are competitive. The gym that I started at in Temecula
Mm-hmm.
under Tom Cronin,
Yes, yeah. Thomas Cronin, he's a great competitor.
right? He's
If,
yeah, he created this massive empire. There's
yeah,
so many kids and so many
yes,
classes.
yeah. I see him at tournaments all the time.
So it's very competitive there. It's almost like you get in there, you just become a competitor. There's no
Yeah,
way around it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just by rolling with your teammates,
Mm-hmm.
it's very competitive already
Yeah.
because everybody's competitive minded. So that's one kind of gym. That's not
And
for everybody.
I
You
don't,
know
yeah,
what I
I don't want
mean?
to scare off any older
Yeah.
people that are like, oh, I don't want to compete. It's like,
Right.
Victory, we're very balanced.
Mm.
We have 60, 70-year-old people that come in that
Hmm.
are safe. Like, it's like, okay, like, we know who to, and this should be every school. Like, the
Right.
teacher should know who to put you with based on what their goals are. And there should be no fear of, okay, go with this guy. And that guy rips your head off. Like, the coach should be able to tell you, okay, if this is your goal, all right, this is how you accomplish it. Right. And if you're 60 years old and you want to compete, like, that's fine too. There's people that do that. But there should be, you should find a school where it's safe for you. If you find a school and you're an older person or just trying to lose weight or really out of shape, and your first class experience is somebody pulling your arm super hard and hurting you, like, that's not a great environment, I don't think. I think
Yeah, the first few months are really difficult too, you know, like
you know.
you don't know anything,
Mm-hmm.
trying to learn, and you know, once you get to sparring, I mean,
A
there's
lot of
no
schools have beginners programs now. Maybe that's a good idea.
no
Find a school
sparring.
with a beginner program,
Yeah.
or just like we have on the schedule. It says beginner friendly, just so you know you're
Mhm.
not going there and
Getting killed.
getting killed. Yeah,
After work. Like you
yeah,
work
right,
all day, you go
exactly.
there, just get smashed. Thanks.
Yeah, and there's people that get like I have people that I know like they get upset like,
Hmm.
oh, this guy just comes, he just wants to like roll and go. I'm like, well, that's him. Like, what do you want? Do you want to win worlds? Like, then train with people that want to win worlds. Like, the the mat is yours. Like, do what you want with it. Like, you don't have to get mad at the guy because he's trying to lose 10 pounds and he's 55 years old with 4 kids. Like, everybody's got their own journey. You know.
Exactly. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's this whole thing of like, you know, training with women and having women in the gym. Like it's,
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to see a lot of women training,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes there's like issues because it's like a combat sport. Like it's, you
Yeah.
know, there's, you know, it's kind of rare, but every once in a while, you know, there's that 1% or 2% like of weird, like, you know, people or
Yep.
stories that
Yeah.
come up or whatever.
Yeah.
That's something that also the gym has to be watchful for and to
Yep.
protect the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
to I think to encourage women
Yeah.
to train and feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think the more women are training, the more it becomes like a more friendly atmosphere.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of fun to have, you know, the women jumping around and, you know, doing their things, attracts more families, more children.
Yeah.
And really, the children, I think, is the heart of the gym, right?
It's
It's
true.
take care of your children's program. Like, you
And,
probably
and
more
it's funny. I have
qualified
like
than.
a 99% dad, moms too, but not as high
Mm-hmm.
dad enrollment rate when they see their kids start to get good at
Oh,
jujitsu. They're like, uh-oh, like, I better learn this or he's gonna be choking me soon. Like,
soon enough, for
they,
sure.
they sit and watch their kid, and then they're like, it's so funny because what other sport do you see that it's not like they're watching their kid play baseball and they're like, I'm gonna play baseball now, you know. Parents are like, I'm gonna get into and then they end up, I've had parents fall in love with it more than the kid eventually, you know.
Exactly. That's what happened to me. Like at first,
It's
my son,
amazing.
I was living in Temecula for a couple years. I've lived in Orange County for the longest time, and then we moved to Temecula, and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't know anything. So when I found the Brazilian community, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and then I went to go see, and Carlson Gracie was there. Junior was the first person that I saw, and he's
Oh, awesome.
there every once in a while. So he's the one who greeted me, and I was like
Wow.
talking Portuguese in Temecula. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wow, this is cool. What's going on? I'm gonna put my son in here. So I infiltrated one of mine, and then before I knew.
That's great. That's an
Before
amazing
I knew,
story.
I was there every day. I was
Yeah.
training morning and night.
Hmm. I have
And
moms like that. Yep.
yeah,
It's a great story. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I really started competing right away. Like there was the grappling X tournaments back in the day.
Oh yeah. I know those guys. I know Corey,
Corey,
Sean.
right?
Both
Yeah,
Sean were doing it, but now Sean does his thing and Corey still does grappling acts.
yeah, came back, right? Yeah.
It's a
So
great
yeah,
tournament.
yeah, grappling X, and yeah, just doing all kinds of different tournaments, and still like 12 years competing. So I'm just surprised that I'm
It's amazing.
still at it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
definitely the
and that's the great thing about jiu-jitsu is like you see the 50 and 60 over division. It's like it's possible. You could do it for a long time. You know, if your body keeps up with it, which I've been doing it for 30 years now. I'm still competing. It's like I know
Mhm.
70-year-olds that have competed for a long time and they're still doing it. Like it's possible.
What's the secret to longevity in jiu-jitsu, right? Because there's also you have to be careful. You can't be careless, right?
Careful and careless, and sometimes you have to be a little bit of a jerk. But
Mm.
I mean, like as
Hmm.
to who you roll with,
Yep.
and not afraid to say no to the person that you're like, no,
Okay.
maybe not today, maybe not the guy who outweighs me by 100 pounds and is gonna go crazy on me. It's when I have something coming up. It's like I'm pretty picky with who I roll with now. I still roll with like basically like most of the students, but there's some I'm like, dude, you need to relax when you roll because you're gonna hurt somebody and people aren't gonna like you very much when you're hurting everybody. And it's not good for your jiu-jitsu if you're just the spaz.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a while to slow it down. It took me a long time. Still, sometimes struggle with that to just slow down everything and see what you're doing and see
Yep.
and drill and like
Drilling.
you
And
really learn more
I
when you
say like
slow everything down.
I call it find a road dog. Like who wants the same thing as you?
Mhm.
I have a guy who when I'm getting ready for something, like it's like big ones, like his name's Tom and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm getting ready for this." He's like, "Let's go."
Mhm.
And we meet and it's just I trust him and we both want to compete, but otherwise like I'm not going super hard every day. I can't every day. Like I'm more relaxed and more drilling and taking my time and flow rolling. Like flow rolling is huge.
Yeah, learn to flow, like flow with life, right? Go with the flow and stay in the game, keep rolling, right?
I think I could make an analogy with jujitsu with just everything in life because it's just so it encompasses so many things.
Mm.
It's a great sport. It's a great martial art.
Yeah, I mean, the first day you step on the mat, you're learning how to fall. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Fight from the ground. Like if life throws you down,
Yeah.
if you're on the ground, that's perfect because I'm
Yeah.
trained on the ground. I can
Yeah.
fight from
It's
any
great.
position. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Unconsciously these lessons are transmitting, you know what I
Yes.
mean? I can be in a chokehold in life, I can be in
Yeah.
a rear naked choke in life, the hooks
Yes.
can be in, but you know what,
Yeah.
there's a way to
Get out.
breathe and calm down and find a way to defend and put the hands in there, tuck the
Yeah.
chin in, and that's you start to, without
Mhm.
knowing, it starts to affect
Yeah.
other in a positive way,
Yes. It's
other
just a
areas.
great confidence creator. Great.
Mhm.
It's great at making more confidence.
I think every kid should be in jujitsu. Every
Yeah.
single child should be part of the, school system. Like some
Yeah.
places are like that. Like I think in United Emirates, they're
Yeah. It's
having
cool.
that
Yeah.
available, right?
Yeah.
In the school system. Can you imagine these kids? Like
I
they
believe in Japan too. That it's like judo is like mandatory.
oh wow,
And
see, it's a different level of thinking, right?
yeah.
And also wrestling is
Yeah.
available in high school, but why not sooner, right?
Yeah.
Sooner.
Right. Yeah.
That's when they have all this energy. Like wrestling should be available sooner for kids in
And I
school. And
and I say like if it's between an hour on the pad, the iPad, and between an hour of jujitsu, it's a no brainer. It's just like, okay, like here's the compromise. Just you don't get to use this for an hour if you're not doing something productive, because class is only an hour, and then it's just kids just don't want to go. That's a lot of kids. want to go every day. But there's some kids that are like, no, I just want to hang out at home. It's like, I feel like with those kids, you just say, okay, well, then you don't get to do this because there's consequences, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the parent's job is to parent, not to be a buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
some parents are too much, like, trying to be buddies with their kids
Yeah.
and not, you have to be a parent. You're not there, right, to there's time for conflict. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like, okay, let's go. You make your bed, you clean up your room, and you train something. Like, it's gotta have some guidelines. And then you have these adults that grow up and don't have any clue like how to live
Yeah.
their lives. They don't know how to feed themselves, cook anything, or like
Yeah.
clean up
So
their
true.
house. It's like, you're an adult. Like, how?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, sort of an adult. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jiu-Jitsu can help people overcome a lot of these hurdles for sure.
And I hope, like, even like, hopefully that anybody who brings their kid to jiu-jitsu, I hope they don't have a bad experience, but I hope even if they do their first time, like, try another school. Like, not every school is the same.
Right.
Like, just, who knows? There's still some schools out there who maybe have some work to do, but if you look, you'll find a school that fits you.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep looking, keep trying, right? It's just kind of like when you find a therapist. It's not just your first therapist that you're going to find that maybe is a good fit. So you might have to shop around. It's the same thing maybe with a doctor. Like, you go to a doctor, give you a diagnosis, you're going to buy into that.
Yeah.
Right? Here's your diagnosis. Here's your pill. No, it's like, okay, or here's a surgery you need to take. No, wait a minute. Like, let me get another opinion.
Yep.
Just kind of like this mentality of not just accepting whatever. It's just like, okay, let me do a little bit more investigation. Like, and then you can really find a better place, a place that is going to fit your lifestyle, your budget, your whatever, right? You can connect with people better. So it's on you to really do the work. So that's awesome. And as a final note, like, if people want to come and train at Victory MMA and try it out, if they're from San Diego, right? What is the deal? Like, is there a free trial or
we do a
net
for
fee
people,
or monthly deal?
for people. I think I'm gonna get in trouble for talking about prices from the
You
boss.
don't need
But
to
no,
say
I
the
don't care. I'm
price,
kidding. I'm
but
joking. I'm joking. But I know we have a free week. We have a free week trial for people who live in San Diego.
Okay.
And there's a $20 drop in for people outside. But otherwise, come see me. And if they're like, hey, I saw you on the YouTube live interview, I'll be like, dude, come in. You're fine. Come. Yeah, I'll let them in.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, one thing is they're visiting one day or two, right? But another thing is like they're I'm staying for a month. Okay,
we are like, it's crazy how cheap it is in Victory. It's like $110 a month for jiu-jitsu, which is crazy for San Diego.
Good price, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and the caliber of guys too. There's great guys to train with. There's so many good guys.
What about women? Like, is there any?
We have an amazing women's program now. It's growing. It's growing.
There's women's class. I saw.
We have a women's class every Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And we have women that jump into just regular classes, but we do have women specific classes on Wednesday and Saturday, and they're great. And it's like a little camaraderie. The girls all hang out too. It's like, it's nice. It's
a whole cult, the women's jiu-jitsu cult.
Yes.
Another level.
Yeah. And I want to be a part of it, but they won't let me. Someday.
You got to be at birth, like a biological.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. So thank you so much. So the whole point is for you guys to go check out this book. It's so awesome. It kind of reads like a comic book.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the idea.
Right? It's so cool. Right? So go get yours. It's really awesome. It's available on Amazon. I ordered one day. I got the next day. Boom.
Awesome.
Next day delivery, Prime, Amazon, free delivery to your doorstep. So awesome. It has all the different main positions and a little bit of history of jiu-jitsu and a lot about the philosophy of jiu-jitsu. And this is a great way to kind of get your kid into it,
Yeah,
or
of
a
course.
gift for like your jiu-jitsu guy, right? You want to
Yeah.
impress your jiu-jitsu guy, right? You're dating. Dude, this is a
Yeah.
cool gift. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, and find a gym, right? Find a gym. If
Find a
you're not in
gym.
San Diego, there are all kinds of gyms. You can hit
Mhm.
me up, on my social media and ask me for, if you want to train in LA or in Texas or whatever. We always know somebody somewhere where you can train.
Yeah.
And then come train, come find a jiu-jitsu gym that you like.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I'll talk to you soon. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye. Thanks again.
Bye.